How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Man, blessed.
All right, thanks for being here, everybody. Coaches for questions for Coach. We'll start with Brian.
Joe, I've noticed you've been wearing, is it like a weighted backpack or what?
Oh man, yes. It's I'm on this health journey and trying to find a way to get kickstart the cardio a little bit. So you gotta be a little 35-pounder out there. So it's been good.
Does that also look as something that you can use to point to your players that you got to work on your health and all that? Or?
You know, shit, man. That's the beauty of this whole thing, right? When you hang up the cleats, you got a choice. You either go stale and non-active, or in our business now here as coaches, man, you can't preach to the guys about getting done and you're not getting done yourself. So it's just a twofold, but it's more of a personal health opportunity.
Justin. In a little bit, we're going to talk to Prince Williams. You've recruited him. You've developed him over the last several months. What's it been like just having him here, and what's next for him?
Man, I think there comes along a certain type of talent and an athlete, and he has those qualities and redeeming qualities. And obviously, Prince just got here, and he's trying to work hard and earn his way into this room. And so the positive thing is he's all in, and he just wants to improve. He wants to be coached, and he's a great teammate. That's one of the things that I'm really impressed with Prince. But if there's one person that you want to take to the back alley, Prince obviously is the guy that you can go ahead and take it, because he's all in and he's committed to the work and the process.
And then working with Trey Smith and some of the other veterans, how have they gone about setting the tone for a guy like him and bringing him along?
And, it starts there with Trey. You know, in the world of portal and whatnot, man, you're really wanting to protect your culture and how you do things. And to have Trey as the elder part of the group, and he sets the tone. And so it makes it easy for guys like Mace and Dom and Leroy, and now obviously we got EC and Prince and a bunch of the other guys. I think it starts there. And it has an impact, a big impact, because Trey is one of those workaholic type of person, and it fits. It's in alignment with the pedigree and the character of Prince, and so he's been a mentor to all those young guys, but to the entire group in the program. So, you know, you're want to recruit those type of pedigree through this whole new landscape of portal. It is the only way you're able to keep the continuity in the culture and what we do here at Redline.
Coach, the last 2 days you guys have run against the offensive lines, defensive lines, in the individual periods. So what are you seeing from your defensive line in those drills, and what are you asking them to kind of do to be effective?
I think the biggest thing that we would keep talking about is the fundamentals. Can we be sound in our hand placement, our eyes and hats? And then the physicality piece. That's the biggest thing, you know, in camp. You want to see the relentless effort. And obviously you got to train to that. But there's a precedence of how to play this game in the line of scrimmage. When you put on the film, are guys utilizing hands, or we're avoiding contact, or we're all over the place? So those are the things that we're always constantly grading, is our effort, but also our physicality at the point of attack. We have to address the point of attack a certain way, and that's displacing the offensive lineman with tight hands and extension with velocity. And so we do a lot of individual drills to address those, and it just becomes a repetition type thing. We need repetition after repetition, and then doing it at a high volume and a high speed. Sometimes you have to scale back, because not everybody that's in the room is further along in that way. But, you know, like any defensive lineman coach, you know, you would like to have your guys play with a sustained technique and fundamentals throughout your day. You can't be fresh in the front of the practice where everything is clean, and then all of a sudden at the end you're sloppy. And so those things, we're constantly grading those, and credit to the guys, man. They're really trying to buy into that, and there's no other way. If you're going to play for the University of Arizona's defense, you're going to learn how to strike, you're going to learn how to extend, you're going to tear off, pursue, and tackle. I think those from the beginning to the end of time, they will never change. That's line play, and it is a defensive line's responsibility, all right, to teach and talk those things through, and then just hone in on those things. And we're not trying to recreate the wheel. All we're trying to do is trying to see if we can grease that thing and freaking make it spin a little faster. And it starts by resetting the line of scrimmage, setting hard edges, tear it off and go and see if we can have 11 hats on the ball. And I think the last couple of days has really been great, man, just having the pads on. Now you can see guys cutting it loose a little bit. But we're continuing to cut our teeth in making sure that we don't get away from the fundamentals. It just starts there. Your effort, going 100 miles an hour, 100 miles of time, and then our physicality. Can we reset the line of scrimmage? And those are the biggest thing, because our number one goal is to stop the run. We got to earn the right to rush the passer, but we got to stop the run, and we have a opportunity to continue to make progress in that. But man, the guys it's good to have some of the guys coming back, working back from their ailments. Big Zach being back out there, but Trey, Dom, man, it's good to see those guys fight to implement the teaching and things that we're working on a daily basis.
Justin and then Jason.
What are your impressions of Kevin Warren so far? And I think maybe the only junior college guys you have on the roster are all defensive linemen. What is it about those guys? And what's just kind of the method to the madness of getting those JUCO guys?
One, he's got to fit what we do, right? Our system is slightly a little different from everybody else, but Kevin has a unique ability to get vertical, and he's a big size man, and the good thing about it, he's still ways away from a finished product, but his length, his athleticism, his short area quickness, and his ability to bend and change the direction in the instant, it's one of the things that we saw on film. And you take a guy like Deshaun McKnight, well, he's probably 2 inches taller than Deshaun with those kind of abilities. So now we're just focusing on the day-to-day drills to try to bring along his fundamentals, hand placement, using hands, and then working on his leverage at the point of attack. But he's a one that has to work on his conditioning level. All the guys do, but that was one of the things that he's finding now, that if you're going to play for this outfit at the University of Arizona, you're going to have to get your conditioning level to a point where you're able to compete for playing time. But man, to his credit, he's coming along, man. It's frustrating because he's raw, and we're really putting emphasis on just basic fundamentals. My hands extension, not pulling my elbows back. We're coming out of our hips, and the good thing about it, he fits what we do. We're aggressive. We get around the edge and get vertical, and that's where I think his wheelhouse is as far as component with our group here. So, but he is the only JUCO college guy, and it's just got to be a fit. It's got to be a great fit, and he is a good fit for us.
Other like Salave'a and Ezra Funa, and there's been some other guys in recent years that are JUCO guys. What is it about D linemen at the junior college level that makes it easier for them?
Well, it's a line of scrimmage game, and you need certain type of body types. There's a certain I can't have a guy that comes in my room and I'm the bigger guy in the room. So unfortunately, that is the barometer. If I walk in and I meet a young man that's a D lineman, but he's twice as small as me, it's probably not going to work unless he's just got tremendous power and whatnot. It's still, this game is about big people beat up little people. And then when you look out there and you see Keatron, Harris, Zach, and Kev, that is decent size. And so now you're looking at the other traits. Can they change the direction? Are they light on their feet? Are they heavy-footed? Can they learn? Do they have the mental capacity to retain and regurgitate back the information? All those things, vital traits that you're looking at, because you cannot just get a big man that cannot move and that cannot learn. This is not a daycare, and I share that with our guys. We have to make sure that through our evaluation process that those big guys, again, fit what we do. We're not a sit at the line of scrimmage, catch blocks. We're on our toes, and we're rolling. And those guys, Big Zach, Kev, and Keatron, it's fun to see those guys in there at the same time. And so, it's just a matter of what is your philosophy? How does each piece's fit. And I think for us, evaluation, we're constantly conversing about that. You know, can he do the things that we're asking him to do? Can he be consistent with it? And can he play 100 miles an hour? If you do that, you have a shot. But again, I'm the D-line coach. I think I lost about 5 pounds. So maybe a young man from high school will have a shot, but I can't be the bigger dude in the room. We're still going to we need mass, length, and guys, because that's how this game is played. And in the Big 12 or going against any other outfit, you know, we got to make sure that we have enough, the length and the girth to be able to do what we do. And so I'm never going to deviate from that, man. We're going to get big, and we're going to get athleticism, and we're going to be able to get guys that can learn. We got to get the guys with the football intelligence and awareness, because if you don't have those length and mass, then you got to present some sort of quality, redeeming quality. So,
Jason and David?
You had mentioned in the spring that Dominic Alessio was one of the more improved guys. How has he progressed and where is he now in camp?
man, just look at his size. He's starting to develop the thicker lowers, and it's evident in the weight room because his numbers are going up. From the lifts and whatnot, but he's always the thing about Lolesio. He's a most critical guy of himself, and you like that spirit because he's always hungry. He wants to be coached. He wants to be pushed. But I think it's more now technical stuff. You know, the detailed piece of his development. Can he learn how to maintain his balance through the point of attack, and then can he work through his leverage without constantly getting out leverage and bringing his feet. So those things, we address those with the explosive movement that we do in our practices and our drills. You know, those are the things. But as far as the care factor, he's all in, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to him taking that next step because, and like anything else, you know, you gotta look different from day one to year two. He's one of the guys that I've always thought that he was still years away from last year. And he did a 180, committed to the nutrition, committed to everything, and changed his body. And so I'm excited to look forward to see him utilize that going forward.
I'll ask Joby, David, and then Justin.
Coach, you mentioned Keytron Harris and Kaisi. Lafitaga is also a young man who's stood out the last couple of days, both true freshmen. What are you seeing in them that really excites you about their potential down the line?
I think those guys here, because they're open to being pushed, they're open to being coached. And those guys have the spirit to compete. And I think competition's elevated when you bring those type of players into the room. You can't have a room where it's half okay and not so much. Those young guys, those young men, him, Prince, Keatron, I mean, those guys are given opportunity now. And the way this practice is structured, they're getting their fair share of reps, and those reps are really now starting to look a certain way. And you get to that point where now you're just hoping and pushing these guys to where they can still be vulnerable enough to be pushed. And that's what those guys is. That's the biggest difference I see now, because Keatron, Kaisi, those guys are wanting to be pushed. But also you want to be specific in how you're addressing those guys, because those guys have different needs, different strengths. The common theme about it is because they see Trey going 100 miles an hour. Well, shoot, I got to go 100 miles an hour. So I think it's good to have in your room that type of example. And so we got to continue to push those guys, because they're going to have to, everybody with the new 5-for-5 rule, everybody's got to be all in to contribute in some way, form, or fashion. And it is, you know, our duty to coach and get these guys ready, prepared, whether they're still 16, 17-year-old or an older guy that's been in the building for a couple of years. And I think Keatron and Kaisi and those guys, they're going to continue to be pushed. And I told those guys, if they want to play here for us, for me, be open to and be prepared to be pushed. And you're going to be pushed, because I think the development piece, the way the game is played now, we don't have the time to wait. But I still believe that there's a lot of high school players that have those potential. And it's your job as a coach to lay that development plan out clearly so that they can understand why they're coming here to play ball here at Tucson University, Arizona. And it's just an awesome thing to have those young guys elevate the room, elevate the competition. And now I think we're getting to the point where let's see if they can really push the older guys even more all right, to earn more reps from what they're doing here. And I think that's where it's headed.
We'll finish up with Justin.
What was it like playing tug of war with Oglesby with Lafitaga? Because I think he was maybe thinking about being an O lineman. So what were those conversations like, and why do you think he's better suited to play on the D line?
You know, I've been fortunate to be in the conversation and recruiting the likes of Panay Sewell, Francis, Mowingoa. I mean, the list goes on. That young man has all those qualities, and he has the ability to play both sides of the ball. I just feel like, and you know, sometimes young men don't see it for themselves, but I've been blessed to coach some of the guys that were on the offensive side and then ended up not just playing well in college, but some of those guys played in the league. Some are still now playing there. Kaisi's one of those athletes. His ceiling is so high right now, he doesn't even know. He hadn't even begun to understand that. But the good thing about it, you know, I think it's more of a need. You know, obviously I owe Coach Josh a couple Snickers bar and some power bars for letting Kaisi be in our room, but there's no way. I mean, we got to change the line of scrimmage, and his value for us and for this team is on the defensive side, and so he's right where he needs to be, and we're going to continue to recruit those type of players because Kaisi, probably people don't know about him because hardly anybody goes down there to recruit, you know, Samoa. But for this game, it's not hard. If you're really in tune with what you're looking for in development, there's a lot of young men that are like Kaisi that are just out there. You're just going to have to be diligent in your recruiting process, and you got to go out there and you look for those qualities. You know, the best thing about that young man, he wants to get better, but he's learning. He hasn't played defensive line since forever, and so to see him grow and having Trey Smith, Mays, all the older guys there, you know, working with him and bringing him along, you're starting to see his confidence build up, and so I think we're on the brink of seeing some of these young guys contribute to us, and they're not satisfied, and that's probably the beauty of this whole thing. They don't want to be satisfied just to be playing. They want to be able to contribute and dominate, and that is the goal. That is the one goal that we're talking about as a defensive line. We got to make a statement every day, and it starts with the way we approach meetings. Those guys that know how they come into meetings, they got their pen and paper, they're writing notes. Kaisi's coming in for extra. All those guys are doing the extra, right? And so, you know, again, a lot of young men wants to be recruited, but you have to look through the lenses of what they are because, again, it's about doing the extra, the in-between, the unrequired. Do they fit the red line that we're talking about here at the University of Arizona? There's a reason why there's a lot of young men in the portal, right? Because they've been led astray by the adults. They're looking at all these other things. University of Arizona, you want to be developed, you want to play good ball and be transformed, this is the place. If you're a D lineman and you want to be pushed, you come here to Arizona because we're going to get done what we need to get done in the room, and those guys are going to be great examples of what it means to be pushed, to be developed, and also they're responsible for their development, you know. And so I'm just fired up for where we're at right now, and those guys know that it's never enough. They got to give more of themselves, but they're starting to mesh as a group there, and it's good to have everybody in there contributing, especially the young cast that just joined us in January.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
How's everything else?
Things are good.
Yeah.
Things are good.
How the Cardinals doing?
What's that?
How's our Arizona Cardinals doing?
Not bad, first game. They got walked off in that first game. It's like final play, right?
Yeah.
Haynes King, and now he's hurt.
Yeah.
They
Jeez.
signed another quarterback.
I heard KD's doing well up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is Lafitaga kind of going the same route as Chuba? Because did Chuba play only O-line in high school and then he played D-line?
See, I didn't know Chuba's history because he was already over when I came in. But
But I think that's what, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
O line to D line. Thanks, Joe.
thank you.
What's up? Dom, what are your early impressions of Prince?
Dog, just a dog. Bro. He came in here to work, put his head down, just like everybody else. You don't really see that out of a lot of freshmen around the country, So he's really coming in here and just making his mark.
Prince, what has it been like for you to be here and be a part of the program?
Man, it's just nothing but a blessing for me just being able to come be a part of the program. And as Dom said, just put my head down and work and get to learn from a lot of the older guys.
So can you tell us about your football background, Prince? How you fell in love with the game and how you started playing?
Man, I would say that's a long but short story. Just a kid, watched football a lot, grew up on it my whole life as well. And then, just fell in love with the game, especially just the contact part as well. Just getting to watch a lot of my older cousins play and then, getting the chance to play in high school and then, eventually getting the opportunity to come here and play besides Dom.
And I think Danny Gonzalez was saying that I think your sister's playing flag football.
Yes,
At a
sir.
college somewhere. What school is she playing at, and what's it been like for you to watch her football path?
Man, yes, yeah, she is playing flag football. I would say I'm the better athlete, but she definitely the better athlete out of both of us. I forgot the name of her school that she's going to, but it's a community college in California for flag football. And, it's just been nothing but a blessing getting to watch my little sister, just ball out on the offensive side of the ball.
David and Brian.
Prince, we're seeing some really impressive young freshman defensive line youth. How you see Keatron? What have you seen from this group so far as you guys have come in here and kind of really established yourselves in these first 5 days?
Man, it's been nothing but exciting, especially being beside Kaisi and Keatron and along our other freshmen. One thing I can say is that we're a hungry group of boys and we're just looking to work.
Brian and then Justin.
Dom, whenever we talk to Coach Gonzalez about the success of last season, he's always quick to point out that the run defense was not what he wanted. Why do you think it struggled at times last year, and what have you guys done to address that?
I just think we weren't redline. Whatever games he was talking about or wherever he was talking about, we just weren't redline. But the past is the past. We just got to learn from what happened in the past and just move on from it. That's it.
Justin and Nathaniel.
So quarterback runs also played into that against BYU, against Houston, but then you guys turned things around in the second half of the season. What adjustments did you guys make that prevented some of those quarterback runs?
We just leaned on each other, went in the locker room, and just put life into each other, spoke life into each other. Like I said, coaches, they can't play, so it's all on the players. When we get out there, so we have no one else to lean on but each other. Knowing that all 11 guys that's out there, whoever it may be, we already know they're ready to rock and roll.
And Prince, you had offers from a lot of other schools. Why was Arizona the school that you wanted to play for?
Right, one thing I would say, it's the people. The people in the building. The building and stuff is all cool and whatnot, but the people in the building is what makes the program. And I say a lot of the people here stuck out to me and made me feel like family here.
And how's it been like learning from Coach Joe? What are some of the things you've taken away from him?
And it's been nothing but a blessing getting to learn from a man such as himself and along with Coach Palmer, just a lot of knowledge in both of those two and just getting the chance to learn a lot of their game from when they used to play, from players they used to coach, and then getting to learn from current guys like Dom and Trey.
Nathaniel and then David.
Yeah, for Dom, plenty of new guys as well as the veterans as well. Just your thoughts on the overall depth of the defensive line, how that plays an advantage, how it's going to help you out throughout the season.
Oh, I think it's great. I think that we have a good mix of newer guys and then guys who have played a lot of ball. So being able to help each other. Like I said, we got some hungry freshmen coming in ready to play. So they've been doing their thing, and we're just gonna keep doing that. I think the depth part, it's great. Being able to have a good set of guys who can really go.
Our last two will be David and then Justin.
Prince, what's the story of why your parents named you Prince?
Man, that's a funny question. Everybody thinks it's some miraculous story, but all in all, it's just my dad said, he's the king of the household, so he got to have his prince ready.
Pretty simple. We'll finish up with Justin.
And then you played at Bishop Gorman, right?
Yes, sir.
What was it like being a part of a national powerhouse program?
Man, it's definitely a blessing being over there as well in Las Vegas, and then getting to learn from a lot of the coaches over there who have a lot of NFL background over there. Just instilling in us a lot of stuff that you're gonna see in college, a lot of stuff that like holding yourself accountable, working hard as well, and then at times as well, just being prepared for the day.
Did playing in a program like that help you transition here?
I'd definitely say, gave me a good foundation from being at a school like that, Bishop Gorman, not only athletically, but academically as well, and just building my character as a person.
Dom, when you were at Long Beach Poly, did that program kind of help you transition to what you're experiencing at
Oh,
Arizona?
yeah. I mean, obviously you can't you can't compare and contrast though, because I mean, high school and college, high school and college are very different. But I did have a really good coach and a lot of good players over there who were like hungry, just ready to work, just like you said. And we had a couple guys who had like offers, scholarship offers. It was like me, Dalen Austin, who's with us now, which is crazy. Other guys like Dylan Williams, he had Oregon, a whole bunch of big powerhouse offers as well. So just it was really cool. It was a really cool experience over there.
Dom, I'm doing a kind of like a collection of Noah Fafita stories. A lot of people are sharing their favorite on or off the field story. Do you have one memory that comes to mind when you think about Noah?
I would just say like he's the same guy every day, and it's hard to be the same guy every day. Coach Joe always says like, you don't want to be a yo-yo. You want to be up here one day, down here another day. You want to stay even. You want to be even. And that guy right there is a perfect example of that. So that's kind of a day-to-day thing. So that's really it.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you.
Thank
You guys.